School Leadership Academy. This video is a summation of 3 questions required for the video portion of the application. Question number 1, why did I enter education? I entered education because I really want to have a hand in making the world a better place. I feel like a fundamental part of that occurs in the classroom setting. During my senior year of college, I discovered my passion for teaching when I had a tutoring job at a community college. And students of all skill levels and different ages experience frustration when they don't understand something or when something is not making sense. So to be able to break down concepts, meet scholars where they are, to help them grow and understand and be proficient with skills and concepts is very, very rewarding for me. After experiencing several roles as a grade level lead or grade level chair, co-department chair, and math coach, I realized that I also had an impact in an administrative role. So to be able to share things that I've done in my own classrooms to help other teachers become better educators is very rewarding, and the impact occurs on an exponential scale. So while I was able to reach my scholars within my classroom, during coaching with teachers from all different grade levels of middle school, being able to assist them in reaching their students as well is how we grow as a cohesive unit as a school. Question number 2. After reading TFA's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion and the diversity, equity, and inclusion guiding questions, what do they make me wonder, and how do they align and misalign with my beliefs as an educator? Well, I definitely related to the portion that talked about the challenge of working towards equity by interrupting systematic racism. And the first thought that came to my mind was an activity that we did as a staff where we were asked a series of questions, socioeconomic questions, where we products of families from single parent households, if we know what it's like to experience hardship, take a step forward. If we grew up with both of our parents, take a step backwards. And at the end of the exercise, I noticed that I, along with a few other of my colleagues, were towards the center of the circle. And the closer you were towards the center of the circle was a reflection of you enduring more as far as these questions were concerned. And we each had a chance to speak. And when it was my chance to speak, I was asked how I felt. And so reading these documents immediately made me think about the activity, because despite everything that I had endured in my personal life as well as in my educational endeavors, I felt triumphant. I felt accomplished to still be in the same space and occupy the same positions as people who had not. And it made me realize on a different level that there are no limits, and that despite where you may come from or things that you may go through in life, you are still worthy, you are still capable, you are still able, and you are still deserving, most of all. I would say that this aligns with my beliefs as an educator, because barriers do exist. Working in multiple educational settings, from schools that have the latest technology to schools who don't have any textbooks, there is definitely a gap as far as availability, and so being able to address such issues, I think, is a crucial part in bridging the educational gap. Also, there are lots of unenthused educators in classrooms. And I think that when an educator is unenthused, that deficits definitely grow. And so it's important for teachers to have a passion about what they do. It's important to know who's in your classroom. It's important to know what their philosophy what their philosophy about teaching is. And my philosophy is that all students are capable and all students are deserving. And so the work I do is meaningful because I believe in teaching to the whole student. The saying that goes, a scholar doesn't know, they don't care what you know until they know that you care. I find that to be 100% true. And I reflect my dedication and my commitment to my scholars every day through my delivery of instruction. And the last question, if you could talk to my current principal, custodial staff, colleague, and student, what is one word that they would use to describe me, and why would they choose these words? Well, my principal would say that I'm phenomenal, and he in particularly gets excited to see what I'm doing in my classroom. I don't like to follow the norms. I like to have scholars engaged, and I like to have them using their analytical skills, problem solving, what I call organized chaos. Like I enjoy that. I enjoy them being excited about solving a problem. And so some of the things that I do in my classroom includes a flipped classroom, in which half of the scholars are in a small group with me and the other half are working on an independent activity, and then we flip. And that allows both groups to have the opportunity to get direct instruction in a smaller setting, as well as have that independent struggle time. And my favorite, rotating centers. I do this at least 2 to 3 times a week in my classroom. I am a middle school math teacher, and so being able to assess multiple concepts in one class period is very, rotating centers are an instrumental tool that I utilize. Scholars also look forward to our daily sprints. And so students would say that I'm fun. I'm the fun teacher, which I don't like being labeled that, but I'm the fun teacher because I also incorporate a lot of movement. When we do our sprints, which is time versus accuracy, quick 2-minute activity where they practice their math facts. We stand up when we recite the math facts, and we do a physical activity with it, whether it be jumping jacks or just them clapping their hands or some type of movement, so that I know that they're engaged and I have their attention. The custodian at my school, she will definitely say that I'm friendly. I wear lipstick. I'm happy. I'm bubbly. So she looks forward to seeing my face every day. I walked in sad one day. Well, I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't sad, but I just wasn't feeling well. And she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, how do you know something's wrong?" And she said, "Well, you're not smiling." Just because I have so much to be thankful for. Like I try to exude my happiness through my facial expressions, and just through my presence when I'm in the sacred space. My colleagues would definitely say that I'm charismatic. I'm always looking for ways to improve or collaborate. I love interdisciplinary projects. And so being able to have colleagues excited about interdisciplinary projects or collaborative activities is very rewarding. And they would also say that I'm approachable. And so just being able to talk to, sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but just being able to have those conversations is very meaningful. Well, that concludes the end of my video. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to moving forward.